won 4 in a row after starting 0-6 in this rivalry. First three, let me correct myself. Wade Waldrop wins those, and then Chad McGehee, second-year coach, they win in overtime last year, 35-28. So they're going to be trying to win the second straight under Coach McGehee and the fifth in a row in this rivalry, which was dominated early by Bob Jones while James Clemens was, steadying themselves and being built by the now Hoover coach Wade Waldrop. But certainly they've done that, and we all know that's usually a sold-out crowd over there for the Madison Bowl. It should be a big crowd for Huntsville Grissom as well. So some outstanding rivalry games going to be going on. And then our team of the week for the Sparkman Centers, and we'll be out there today at 3 o'clock before their team meal. They are headed to Austin for a big 7A Region 4 game. So a lot of big-time action tonight.
Yeah, a lot of good high school football. Make sure you download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app so you can have high school football in the palm of your hands tonight for that Week 2 edition of high school football. Week 3 for some, Week 2 for others, but for everybody, it is opening night of region play. College football from last night. First, the local edition before we dive in to around the SEC. Alabama A&M goes on the road last night to UAB. Blazers just way too much in this one as expected. 59-0 Blazers over the Bulldogs in that one from Protective Stadium. And a touching moment in that game happened at halftime as the Blazers were coming off the field. Bill Clark was there at the end zone waiting for them. And in a sign of respect, all of the Blazers took a knee right in front of Bill Clark as if he was still their head coach. And they made their way into the locker room after Bill Clark said just a couple words there. But a touching moment in that one for the Blazers.
Yeah, 59-0 win. Brian Vincent, the interim coach, the offensive coordinator, and going to be interesting to see what kind of year UAB has because they've been a dominant program and certainly in Conference USA, and Bill Clark's been a big part of that. He restarted this program just a few seasons ago after it was completely dropped and shut down, and they hit the ground running literally. I mean, they were ready to roll, and they've been really, really good in league play ever since and been a consistent bowl team. Really hate to hear about the back situation and the spine situation for Bill Clark. I know he was supposed to have a procedure done. We'll see how that affects his quality of life. He certainly wasn't ready to step away,
right.
But his body was telling him that he needed to. Personally, I hope he has an astounding recovery and can come back to that job because of what he's meant to that program. But a great win, 59-0 over our local team here, Alabama A&M. Tough beginning for them, and it doesn't get any easier because they're headed to the Troy Trojans next week. But certainly, Connell Maynard and those guys are going to have to bounce back. And then we also had another in-state team. Scott had a tough result on the road last night.
Yeah, North Alabama taking on Indiana State there in Terre Haute, Indiana. They were trailing 14-7 in the fourth. They got a game-tying score late. With 48 seconds left to play in this one after Indiana State turned a North Alabama interception into quick 7 there in the fourth. Then UNA, they go into overtime, their first overtime since 2013. Indiana State gets the ball first. They settle for a field goal. UNA was in prime condition to take the lead in overtime. In fact,
and win the game.
They had drove down to the 7-yard line, and then a high snap goes over the head. They take a 26-yard loss. It looks like they were going to rebound and be able to have a 50-yard field goal attempt, which easily could have been made. Delay of game. They don't get the snap off. They move back and
disaster.
Yeah, they have to settle for a Hail Mary that ends up being picked off there in the end.
It reminded me, I thought Mike Shula was coaching. I ain't going to lie. I was having flashbacks of second and third and fourth and 19 when you got 1st and 2 against Tennessee in 2003 at home in Bryant-Denny Stadium and you can't make 2 yards. And then you blow a coverage on 4th and 19. Everybody should have been fired right after the game, to be honest with you. I mean, it was absolutely pathetic. It was basically foreshadowing the disaster that was going to be the Mike Shula era. But at least it got Alabama Nick Saban. But yeah, I just felt bad for UNA because I mean you could just sort of feel it, man. They got 7 yards on first down. It's 2nd down and 3 at the 7. You got a good shot to get a 1st and goal. And then if you can get 1st and goal, you got a shot to score and win. And they were getting good push up front, and then all of a sudden, just absolute unmitigated disaster when you take a 26-yard loss on the snap. And then, they didn't get the kickoff, as you mentioned. It was the delay of game, but they did try the kick. It was blocked. So it was just all the way around. It was a comedy of errors in the overtime. Just really frustrating because I thought they made a good goal line stand to force the field goal, and then you get a chance to walk it off. I mean, if you score a touchdown, the game's over, and you have such a good first down play, and you're fired up. You're thinking, okay, here we go, man. You got it. You can throw it. You can run it. You can kind of dictate what you want to do
downhill at that point,
and then you can't freaking snap the football.
Yeah, they North Alabama though did struggle in this one.
Oh, the offensively,
they were held to just 43 yards of total offense in the first half. So, I mean, it was not their finest performance, but they still had a shot to win the ball game.
Defensively, they played pretty well.
They do host Virginia Wise next Saturday at 6 o'clock.
Kalen Lightfords.
Yes. All right, college football. This is where everybody underreacts to your team's performance after the first week. And how about the Tennessee Volunteers? They lead 38-0 at the half over Ball State. They go on to win 59-10. So after watching Tennessee do what they did to Ball State, easily cover the, I believe, 35-point spread in this one, you ready to say that the Volunteers are true contenders in the SEC East?
Hell no. They played a MAC team that's terrible. They played David Letterman, and they beat the hell out of them. Good job. They did what they were supposed to do. Let's just put it this way. I think Ball State is worse than Hawaii. Okay? I'll just say that.
Worse than Hawaii.
Yeah. Terrible. If Joe Milton can go 8 for 9, and he usually can't hit water if he fell out of a boat, then they're not very good.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker, 18 of 25, 221, 2 touchdowns.
He did all that in the first half, and then one drive in the third quarter when they handed the ball to the tailback, and there was a hole big enough to drive a Mack truck through. Now, I'll give Tennessee credit. They did what they were supposed to do. They smashed them, and that's what they're supposed to do. And Vanderbilt did the same thing on the road at Hawaii. I want to see next week. That's where I'll know if Tennessee's a good football team because I will be honest, I lost interest in the Tennessee game early because it was such a shellacking. I turned it to the backyard brawl, and I'm going to tell you what, even nerve medication made some good throws in that game.
Well, that game there, if you paid attention to social media, that game needs to be played every year.
Yeah.
Because it was, and that being West Virginia and Pitt last night taking on each other. And that game, 17th ranked Pittsburgh, West Virginia, and West Virginia was in control of this one. A lot of people are pointing to the 4th and 1 in this ball game where Neil Brown decides not to go for it. After that, West Virginia, I believe, scores 14 straight or 10 straight in that one, and it was a pick 6 late in this one for Pitt that helped seal the deal. 38-31,
and that wasn't
Pittsburgh
even,
over
as much as
West
I can't
Virginia.
stand nerve medication. That was not his fault. Zero, whoever the hell that was, needs to be apologizing to his teammates.
Yeah, the ball literally,
the ball hit him in the freaking. I mean,
JT Daniels
right
between
where
it was
hands.
supposed to go.
This would have been a first down past midfield in a 31-31 game. You're already on the way to at least having a shot at a field goal, and my man just gagged. He didn't just. I mean,
he was wide open.
Yeah,
no one within him.
Well, no, they gave a cushion to him.
Yeah,
and he ran a good route, and then he turned around and he channeled his inner Jaleel Worthless, and he dropped the ball. I mean, or a Jai Moron, whoever you want to be. I just want to say, zero. He better never come back to the huddle the entire season and say, I was wide open, you missed me. Because one of his teammates ought to just turn around and just, dog cuss him and be like, well, we're 0-1 because of you, pal, because you couldn't catch the ball and do your dadgum job. Because we probably win the football game if you can catch it.
Yeah, JT Daniels last night, 23 of 40, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception late in the game. Keaton Slovis from Pitt, 16 of 24, 308, 1 touchdown. And you bring up the interesting point, next week, Tennessee has to travel to Pittsburgh to take on Pitt. 17th ranked Pitt now coming off that win against West Virginia. And that is where we will see, I guess, what Tennessee is really made of.
I mean, I got to say, I wanted to make sure that I gave him proper credit for gagging. But Bryce Ford Wheaton, he's the guy. He's the I guess
sure-handed
black sheep right now. That dropped the ball and then allowed, and then I thought gave half-assed effort to try to chase down the defensive back and allowed a pick six. But whatever. I thought it was, but it was a great football game. It was back and forth. I mean, there was 2 great games, and I watched the end of the Little 10 with Penn State and Purdue, where everybody looked like they were running in quicksand. But that was a great ending. Penn State found a way to win. I got to say this. I guess I'm getting really old, but Joey Porter Jr. Got to be the son of the legendary Pittsburgh Steeler pass rusher. He had a great game as a corner for Penn State, and Penn State was able to overcome some mistakes and come back because Purdue was an overturned catch, and it was I probably wasn't. It was almost an ESPY type deal, but
right.
Yeah, they reviewed it and wiped it away. If that ends up being a catch, Purdue had a great shot at getting it would have been a first down inside the 30. Would have had a great shot at perhaps winning that game over Penn State. But James Franklin and the boys found a way to win it. I'll just say this, and again, you just talked about it. Are you going to panic, or are you going to get? Are you going to get an inflated view of yourself?
There's so many overreactions to a Week 1 win.
I already know.
Look.
Tennessee fans think they're winning the East now. I'm sure that's probably what they think.
Yes.
Like
I said, that does, and you brought up the point that leads to next week. They traveled to Pitt.
Yeah.
Pitt had a really tough game last night against West Virginia. They learned a lot. What did we learn about Tennessee in that win against Ball State?
That they're still very potent offensively. I mean, and they have an experienced quarterback. He looked the part. He played a little bit over 2 quarters, and they got him out of there, which was smart. Get him out of there. Let Nuke LaLoosh go in there and play. And he went 8 for 9. So you've got an experienced backup who, and that is an advantage a little bit, though. At least you do have a dude who started before.
Right.
Now he might run out of bounds and not even throw the ball when you need to, throw the football when you're down 6 and throw it into the end zone, and he'll just run out of bounds and lose the game because he's probably got money on it. But anyway, because he's probably got some kind of NIL deal or whatever with some casino. But that's what it looked like last year against Ole Miss, by the way. But, again, like I said, Tennessee won. They were impressive. They even looked pretty good on defense, but I think they were playing an overmatched opponent, in my opinion. But when you play opponents like that, that's how you're supposed to beat them. And they did exactly what they were supposed to do. I will say this. I don't think they were the most impressive SEC team. I think Missouri was the most impressive because they mud-stomped Louisiana Tech 52-24. Because there was some people that thought that might be a little bit of a dicey situation. That they might go out, they might be close.
Well, we didn't know anything about Missouri. We didn't know what
Luther
to expect.
Burden was playing running back, wide receiver. That dude is the real deal.
They led 24-10 at the half.
Yeah.
Did Missouri. They scored 28 points in the
And you know how bad Missouri's been on defense. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
They've had 3 defensive coordinators in 3 seasons under Drinkwitz. But they were impressive, I thought. Winning the game 30+. So the SEC acquitted itself well, I thought. Now, and I also
they're 3-0 so far.
And I know we heard from our good friend Josh Pate yesterday. He didn't get it right, but it was competitive. All right? I thought Coach McElwain and Central Michigan were very competitive.
Now they only lost by 14 to Oklahoma State.
They scored, 44? 58-44, I believe, was the final score. like an arena football game.
58-44.
Yeah, I mean, they were in it early, then got down big, but they kept scrapping. So you know,
they were down big early. They were down, believe it or not, they were down 44-15 at the half.
I know, but see, it was 7-7 like late in the first quarter.
Yeah, and then they scored. They outscored Oklahoma State. Here is, keep in mind, this is Derek Mason's defense now at Oklahoma State. He gave up 22 points in the fourth quarter, did Derek Mason's defense, to make that thing interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Carson's missing him. I'll just say that.
All right, so 256-576-4977. That's the number to the program. You can get in on the show this morning if you want. So there's your plenty of good college football. Plenty of good college football.
I mean, for a Thursday, it was pretty packed.
It was.
I mean, there was games everywhere.
Some other games.
And two of them were good.
And some other games, in case you did not get to see or hear them last night. Our friend Gus Malzahn opens up with a win over South Carolina State last night, 56-10. John Rice Plumlee, 15 carries, 86 yards on the ground and a touchdown, 308 and 4 touchdowns through the air for the former Ole Miss standout. And you mentioned that Penn State-Purdue game. Penn State wins 35-31. An interesting stat, thanks to ESPN. There have been already this season in college football, there have been 2 go-ahead pick sixes in the fourth quarter. We had 2 last night.
Purdue, yeah.
Okay.
And then
there were 2 in all of last season.
Wow.
So there you go.
Well, I mean, and both those games were considered to be big-time matchups, and they lived up to it. I think you're right about the backyard brawl. I mean, it was played over there at Pitt, but it was an outstanding atmosphere, outstanding game. I thought JT Daniels at times looked really good. Then at times, he was JT Daniels, but he did make some really good throws. If he can stay healthy and take his meds, like I'm taking mine. I take mine every day, JT. Take yours too, brother. Then he has a chance to have it. Then he has a chance to have a good year. Slovis looked good. He had 300 passing yards. Really only threw 24 passes. They made Frank Cignetti, Kirk Cignetti's brother, who Kirk Cignetti, of course, was on Nick Saban's first staff at Alabama, helped him win the 2009 national title. They changed OCs. Mark Whipple went to Nebraska, and so they wanted to run the football more. They were able to run it well. But it was just one of those things where it basically came down to me to that interception and that pick six.
Yep.
If that ball's caught, I think West Virginia's got a good chance to win. That's the heartbreaking thing about college football at times. You can look good, you can have a shot to win it, and then you just have a bad break, or you got a guy that makes a mistake and Pitt takes full advantage of it. And they scored 2 touchdowns in 43 seconds because they were down 38-31, 31-24, pardon me. And then tie it up with a great drive, and then boom, you end up losing it on that interception. And then Penn State, they had a great drive to take the lead to win it with less than a minute to go, and Purdue couldn't answer. But I thought Purdue acquitted themselves well, especially considering Penn State's supposed to have a really good football team. Clifford is a 6th-year quarterback. At times he looked bad for Penn State, but when it mattered the most on that last drive to win the game, he was really, really good. And they did the great, play call on the wheel route to score the winning touchdown. And don't forget, Manny Diaz is now their defensive coordinator, and they got a big sack
that's right,
with like 35 seconds to go to basically put Purdue in a hole they couldn't dig out of. So, but it was a good win for Penn State. And now I'm anxious to see them in 2 weeks when they take on Auburn. What I took from it, and we haven't even seen Auburn yet, so we can't react until Saturday night. But if Auburn is improved, and I think they are, I think they got a real good shot to win the game in Jordan-Hare Stadium in Week 3. Now, that's what that told me because, again, I've got to believe – I have to believe that Auburn is better than Purdue, okay? I've got to believe that.
I would think so. I would think so.
Now I will say this: your boy, from Purdue. I don't know how Kirk Ferentz lets him get away. That guy was pretty good. I don't know if you saw him.
The wide receiver.
Yeah, from Iowa. He was pretty good, dude.
Well, when you have an offense that is 1940s.
He looked like Richard Mullaney to me. You know?
When your offense is stuck in the 1980s
or 90s
and 90s still.
Yeah.
I mean, and they don't want to evolve out of it because, I don't know. They tried it once and did it half-assed and it didn't work, and so they went back to the old. I mean, Iowa, I think, is still one of the few teams, and I'd be interested to see how many actually do this, that they actually still huddle, and they still. I mean, it is straight up 1995 offense. I mean, we're gonna run it. Yeah, not a lot of creativity in the Iowa offense.
No, I think he had 12 catches for freaking 153 yards.
Yeah, he might have gotten 12 catches in 3 games.
Oh, my God.
Iowa. All right, we got to get a break in because when we come back, the show is so full today. We are going to hear from Nick Saban.
Yeah.
We got to hear from TJ Finley.
And we got to talk high school football.
And we got to talk high school football, and we're going to do that next with David Lloyd.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Not much going on this morning. Traffic's been building in quickly, but we haven't found anything new accident-wise. Had a couple of minor accidents early, but they've been long gone. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The 2 words we live by. The coach we follow.
All right, blow the horn. Let's go.
The famous call we love to hear.
Touchdown, Alabama!
It's good to be a Bama fan. Join us Saturday, September 3rd as the Crimson Tide kick off the 2022 season against the Utah State Aggies on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's been said that there are 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a 4th certainty, the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the summer supercharged sales event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The summer supercharged sales event, Woody Anderson Ford.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 7:31 on a Friday morning. A 68-degree start to the day, so hopefully Mother Nature cooperates tonight.
Yep.
We've been 2 for 2 in the high school football season, but let's hope Mother Nature cooperates tonight again, as it is, like we said in the beginning, it is week 2 for some, week 3 for others, but for everybody, it's week 1 of region play.
Yeah, region play is the most important time in high school football, and basically this is what you practice for, this is what you play for. Certainly you want to see and measure yourself in region play, or pre-region play. You get an idea in your non-region schedule what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. But again, in the grand scheme of things, the win last week for the Randolph Raiders was historic. It was 46-33 over a very solid Madison Academy team who I think is still going to have a really good year. But the most important part of the schedule is these next several weeks. I mean, 4A Region 8 play, you're positioning and jockeying yourself for the playoffs, to play in the postseason, to have a chance to play for a blue trophy, and to get off to a 1-0 start would be huge, because again, you don't want to start off and put your backs against the wall. And certainly the Raiders tonight at SportsMed Field are going to take on the JP2 Falcons. And our next guest spent 3 years there from 2017 to 19, got them to the playoffs twice, did a great job, and is now got the Randolph Raiders trying to make back-to-back playoff appearances, coming off their first playoff win in school history. But they have high expectations, but none of it matters until you play tonight and you try to put and start stacking performances on top of each other, and they're going to try to do that this evening at 7 o'clock. And David Lloyd is with us to talk some Raider football right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well,
good,
Coach.
And eagerly anticipating this start to region play?
Oh, always, man. You know, like you said, you play your first 2 weeks in preparation for region. And in the grand scheme of things, those first 2 weeks are really more of a measuring stick, and hopefully you're getting your guys ready to play and getting them executing at a high level, because region is what matters. So regardless of what everybody's record is, everybody's season starts tonight.
Yeah, it really is. Everybody's even. And Coach, but I will say this, And now that we were 2 weeks in, you played two really good football teams. We saw what West Morgan did on the road to Ardmore last week, 49-0. We saw what your football team did and heard it on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. A very impressive performance all the way around by your team in all three phases against Bob Godsey's Madison Academy Mustangs. But what did you learn about your squad now that you've watched film, you've seen your team in practice this week, and, of course, you've got the two games on film?
Really just the toughness and the grit of our team. Coming off a loss like we did with West Morgan might have been the best thing for us. Woke us up a little bit, but to come back out the following week and really correct the mistakes we made the week before, make the plays we need to make. We played well up front on both sides of the offensive and defensive lines. Those were big things for us. The guys we count on to make plays, make plays. We cleaned up our kicking game. We had a great night from our kicker, Hunter Hess. So it was really good to see those guys bounce back and fight through that adversity and show what kind of team we can be.
Yeah, and that win against Madison Academy, the first ever for the program, just another first that you continue to cross off.
It was, from what I've been told, it's a long time coming, and, it was good for our program. And any win's good for your program, especially early in the season, especially bouncing back from the week prior. But, in the grand scheme of things, it's just getting us ready for this week and your region run and what you're trying to do there. But, it was a good week last week. Our guys played well against a very tough football team. So we're always happy when we can end up with a win.
And, Coach, I thought the big key for your football team on both sides of the football, offensively and defensively, I know you were concerned after the opening week zero performance against West Morgan about red zone execution offensively and defensively. You cleaned that up offensively, beautiful. You were perfect in the red area. And then when you had to, your defense stood on its head a little bit, made some big stops, and faced a gritty quarterback like Carson who really took a physical pounding but ran the football well, made some clutch throws. But I thought the red zone execution on both sides of the ball was much better.
That was one point of emphasis we knew we had to do a better job of. We had talked about it. We got to be able to finish drives and finish and get the opportunities and capitalize on them when we have the chance. And, we had some the week prior. We didn't do a great job. We came out against MA and did a much better job cleaning that up. Defensively, like you said, when we needed to, we made plays. And they were a tough team. Crehan did a phenomenal job. Really tough kid, really gritty player. Ran the ball really well for him. So he was tough to handle. And the running back, Cherry, did a great job. Just kind of grinding out some yards against us. But, it just seemed like defensively when we had to have a stop or we needed to make a play, you've got Connor Goodson getting an interception on the first drive. You've got George Jennings making a big sack late in the game. Ben Dwyer making a tackle for loss. Or Graham Beatty or Wayne Collins or Daniel Martin coming out and making big stops for us. Thomas Von Alfeld had a big sack for us early in the game. So we had a lot of guys really step up and make plays when we needed to.
Well, take us inside the scouting report for tonight. What do you anticipate that you're going to see a lot of?
We think they're going to be fired up and ready to play. JP2's coming off a big win against Sacred Heart from Mississippi. So their confidence is going to be up. They're going to play with high emotions and high confidence. They're going to come in trying to win a region game just like the rest of us. They got an athlete at quarterback. He can make some plays with his legs. He throws the ball well. They've got a really good kid at receiver. He can play receiver, tight end, running back, quarterback. He's one of their starting linebackers. He does a really great job there. And they get after it a little bit. They fly around with the football. Got a couple of good linebackers. So they're going to do some things that are going to challenge us for sure. But like we tell our guys, it's about us. At this point, we can't worry about who the opponent is or who's coming to Sports Med Field. It's about us and about chasing our best every day and every week. And we want to come out and play our best and take care of the things we need to take care of. And our biggest opponent every week is us. We need to be able to play a little better than we did last week. I think we're a good football team. I think we could be a great football team if we just continue to improve every week and try to be better than the team we were last week.
And then what did you take from 1 week to the next? Obviously week 0, I should say, 113 yards on the ground, but a little off in the passing game. But I thought last week as far as a complete performance, Andrew Hunter, 17 of 22, 329, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, 49 yards on the ground. I thought he really performed well, Coach.
He did a great job, and he bounced back from week 0. And I think a lot of that we had some protection issues early, so he ran the ball a little more week 0 than maybe we would have liked him to. We were able to clean that up, and our offensive line played great. Friday night he was able to settle under the pocket and go through his progressions and made the right decision, made the right plays when he needed to. He played exactly like what we think he's capable of and who we see every day. So we're expecting him to continue that growth and have another good week this week and just lead our team in a region game tonight.
Absolutely. And then 17 touches, 195 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 2 through the air on a couple of beautifully called wheel routes. But Nick Strong, the AL.com Huntsville Area Player of the Week, as voted on by the public. I know he's done a lot for your program, Coach, but I thought I thought he played a phenomenal game on Friday night and also did some good things defensively, but offensively he did what you were expecting of a player of that stature.
And that's what we love about Nick is his versatility. We split him out as a wide receiver. He caught balls out of the backfield as a running back. He put 3 in the end zone from the ground. He took a snap at quarterback for us. We can move him around and do different things with him, and we think that presents some difficulties in matchups. You definitely got to figure out where number 28's lined up and how you want to fit him. And that's what we like about our team. And, our guys understand that every night's not going to be your night. We feel like we've got some offensive weapons where we can kind of share the wealth and do some different stuff. And what makes Nick good is when Andrew's having a good night, when Rowan Campbell's having a good night, when Grayson Davenport, Keegan Morse are having a good night. It opens things up for Nick. And Rowan Campbell had a great game for us, 3 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. So we think that takes the pressure off our other guys to feel like they have to make all the plays. We just need you to make the play when your numbers count.
Coach, how important, though, is it, too? I mean, very rarely do you get to start off a season with as many home games in a row as what you guys get to enjoy. I know you did go on the road there for West Morgan, but you've been at home now for a little while. How important is it to take care and win these ones at home early?
Well, especially, we got 3 in a row. We're at home again next week, and that doesn't happen all the time. Now, we'll pay for it next year when we're on the road 3 times in a row. But right now, we're loving being at home. Our crowd was phenomenal Friday night. Our parents, our student section, our band, dance team, our cheerleaders. It's just a great environment. We've got our middle school night coming up tonight. We're hoping for another big environment, another big crowd for our guys. But you always want to take care of business at home in front of your home crowd. You love playing at home. It should give you some kind of advantage, with the atmosphere you play in. So we're excited to strap it up and get back out on our field tonight and hopefully end the night the way we want it to.
And, Coach, you got a great senior class. You already mentioned George Jennings, who I thought was kind of the unsung hero with what he did in the second half, all on the D-line. And, of course, he plays left tackle for you. But just with some relentless effort, did a great job, pressuring, Carson Crean, who's a really good football player. You got, Grayson Davenport. You've got Connor Goodson, Andrew Hunter, Nick Strong. I think a lot about what the start of this 4A Region 8 is tonight is about this senior leadership and about these guys being ready to play and getting off to a fast start. I thought the key getting off to a fast start against Madison Academy, but the same thing for tonight, whether we have rain or not. Getting off to a fast start against JP2 is going to be very important.
We always want to start fast. It's always good if you can get some success early, maybe apply a little pressure to the other team, possibly get them out of what their game plan may or may not be. But it's important to us. We like to push the tempo a little bit. We want to start fast. We think it takes pressure off our defense to have to make plays because they've had to bail us out in the past. And we want to help our defense as much as we can, help our kicking game as much as we can. Offensively, if we can find ways to put points on the board early, that's really big for us. But starting fast can go either way. Last that from them. If we have to kick off, starting the game with a touchback is just huge for us in the kicking game and defensively. So there's a lot of ways we can start fast. I'd love to start fast in all three phases. That makes it a lot easier. But that's what we want to do. That's how we want to play, and we're hoping we can get off to a good start tonight.
And then, Coach, finally, offensively and defensively, we don't want you to give away the game plan, of course, but what's going to be the key? I would think one of the big keys against JP2 would be, you mentioned them previously in our conversation, but would be containing Andrew Heskey, who's played receiver but is a versatile athlete and is quarterback in them right now.
We're going to have to make sure that we can limit his big play ability. Like I said, he's got the ability to make plays with his legs and his arm. He's got a couple of receivers that can go get the football and make some plays after the catch. So we're definitely going to try to have to contain him and limit his ability to make big plays. Defensively, we're going to have to pick up some of the pressure that they like to bring and make sure that we can keep the pocket clean and keep Andrew protected. And, we just got to find different ways to get the balls in the hand of our playmakers, and just let them be the athletes they are and who they are. And always, continue to be successful in the red zone, make the big plays defensively when we need to, and be sound in the kicking game.
Well, we certainly look forward to it. It's going to be a great environment. Hopefully another great crowd over at Sports Med Field. It was electric last week, Coach. Standing room only everywhere. A lot of support from both sides and a lot of enthusiasm, and I'm sure going to be the same way tonight. We look forward to the call on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. You can hear Austin Coletti and myself bringing you Randolph Raider football. But we thank you for taking the time this morning to join us and continued success, and we look forward to another good performance tonight. Thank you for joining us this morning to talk some Raider football.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you tonight, Drew.
Thanks. Randolph head coach David Lloyd with us, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Let's get a break in, come back, wrap up hour number one.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck in Decatur, Highway 20 westbound at Bibb Garrett. That one's coming in as a no injury, but it's going to be blocking up traffic till they can get it worked and out of the way. Everything else looks good. You be careful this morning. Snelling has accounting openings in downtown and South Huntsville. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
KFC knows that when it comes to sharing, there's good and there's finger-licking good.
A meal with sides, that's good.
3 equally delicious sides? So even if one kid loves mac and cheese, another only eats mashed potatoes, and the third is basically 90% French fry, there'll still be no complaints, besides why bedtime can't be midnight and ice cream isn't a breakfast food? That's finger-licking good.
KFC's Sides Lovers Meal. Pick 3 large sides and pair them with 8 crispy tenders or your favorite fried chicken. Order now on the KFC app. Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's finger-licking good.
Prices and product availability may vary.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
AVIQ.
Who is AVIQ?
AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
4 Heisman Trophy winners, 33 Southeastern Conference championships, 18 national championships. Hi, this is Chris Stewart of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, 256-576-4977. That's how you can get in on the show this morning. And Pat from Tuscaloosa is with us this morning. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, fellas. I'm just not getting into the show. Question: what kind of numbers does Bryce have to have in this first game in order to stay in the conversation for the Heisman again?
I mean, it's so early. I just
that's hard to that's even tough to say because I mean seriously. If he goes out and only
Hooker
plays
could
a
have thrown
half
for 450 yards last
But let's say this thing gets out of hand early and Bryce Young only throws for 170 yards
or
and
200
touchdowns or 200 yards.
Hooker last night.
This is the problem. And Pat, this is not at you. This is the problem that Bryce Young's going to have all year. Everybody is going to look at Bryce Young's game-by-game numbers and say he's got to have this, he's got to do that in order to win the Heisman for back-to-back times.
Yeah, I mean, we're already on ESPN listening to Heather Dennett try to talk college football, and I emphasize the try word. And of course, what are they showing against the national champions, courtesy of the injury report, is the 2 interceptions that Bryce threw late in the game.
Right.
Of course, they're not showing him torching Georgia when he had everybody healthy, when the Great Wall fell flat in early December. But again, that's football. He didn't have the guys left, and so he couldn't play at as high a level. It's going to depend a lot, Pat, on how his supporting cast plays, because that's the way it is with quarterback play. And I'm more wanting to see how many times one touches the ball. I'm talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and what he does, because if Jahmyr Gibbs is as dynamic as I think he is, he may take some votes away from his own teammate, because that's just the way it is. And that's why it's so hard, Scott, what you're talking about, to repeat as Heisman winner, because you're scrutinized more than any player in the country.
And look, this is week 1.
Right.
And C.J. Stroud against Ohio State
is going to play for 400 yards.
But that's the big game, and so people are going to have it.
The
SEC season is where you're going to all that other stuff, and you got other big games. I mean, this is Utah State. Look, You're not going to win.
Team, but
you're not going to lose. You're not going to take your name out of it. You're not going to put your name in it. Nothing on week 1. I mean, seriously.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, CJ is just not throwing against the level of competition on defense that we have here in the SEC, and that's why I just see where it's just not apples and oranges. There's no balance to it. I mean, as to how they're voting for this guy. I mean, because he's throwing against air basically up there.
Well, C.J. Stroud is one of many. I mean, let's come back in week 8, week 9, and let's revisit who's going to be.
I'll say this:
potential there.
We've got a Georgia fan on hold, but if they come out and they beat Oregon like I think they're gonna, because I think they're going to be impressive. Say Brock Bowers catches 12 balls for 175 yards
and a pair of
touchdowns. He's going to have a ton of buzz because he's a freakazoid.
Yep. Totally agree.
Gotcha.
All right, Pat.
Okay. All right, fellas, y'all
Thanks, Pat. Have a great weekend of college football. Thank you.
Bob, the Georgia dog, is with us next. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Drew just backed me off the ledge a little bit because he was talking nice about Brock Bowers.
Oh, how can you not? There's nothing negative you can say about him.
After seeing him in person, holy buckets.
I mean, that dude is a freak.
Yeah.
You had me fired up when I first turned it on because you were making excuses for Bryce Young and Bama because they were missing J-Mo and, excuse. When you guys got your butt beat in the national championship.
Yeah,
That's
got
what
beat.
Happened, period.
It took you 15 years to win one time.
Well,
but, hey, man, congratulations, boss. You can get rid of your DVDs and your VHS tapes. Congrats. And your Herschel Walker poster. Congratulations, man.
Hey,
Alabama's won a lot more national championships than the Dogs. I can tell you that. And they're going to win more now. I hope it doesn't take 40 more, but we'll see.
It won't. I
hope we strap it up in December, pal. That's all I'm going to say. I hope we get a rematch. And I'm going to say we because everybody knows I'm a Bama guy. I want their ass again. Bring it on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
you don't want none of this smoke. If Alabama's as good as I think think they are, they're going to get some of that Georgia ass, but they got to get there first, and so does Georgia.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely get there.
Yeah, your division's pretty weak compared to what Alabama's got to go through. I'll admit that.
We're going to get there, and I do think Brock Bowers, because he's torched Bama both times he's played them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's a great football player. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he did his job.
I give tons of respect to Bryce Young because he's the best quarterback in college football, period, hands down. And I think as much as I hate that Jermaine Burton transferred, I think Jermaine Burton's going to be y'all's best receiver this year.
He's receiver number 1 right now. I mean, we'll see if he backs it up. I mean, and that's what a lot of it's going to have to be. I mean, I think Bryce is going to elevate some of these cats, and I'm anxious to see, how Kirby uses some of his personnel because they've still got really good talent. I mean, I think McIntosh is going to be running back 1. I want to see if Kendall Milton is the real deal or if he's a 4.75 like I think he is. I'm not sure I loved Brooks. Cook. Why am I saying Brooks? I loved Cook. James Cook, to me, was a huge weapon. A McIntosh will be that kind of dude, but then they had Zeus White. Can Milton be Zeus White? Can he take the place? I hated that they lost the young kid to an ACL in camp. But, I mean, again, I'm not taking anything away. Georgia's still going to be talented. They're going to win the East, I think, in a romp.
Yep.
But Alabama has to get there, and I'll freely admit that too. I mean, because Alabama's got a tougher schedule than Georgia does.
Yeah, they both have to get there.
I'll be shocked if Georgia's not there.
But they both have to get there.
I'll be honored.
Well, I know what's coming up next. Bob Godsey's coming up next. We'll get to more fun in hour number 2. Believe me, more fun.
Hey folks, this is Arthur C. Manager Department.
Coach, how's this year's lineup looking?
It's looking great. We got a lot of MVVs and they are looking outstanding. Next.
Yes, what about trades?
Ma'am, you know University Kia always gives up to $5,000 of a KBB trade-in value. Right now, get up to $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022 Kia K5s are just $199 per month. Plus, we want to buy your car. Scan the QR code to see what your car's worth. Only at University Kia. Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022 Kia K5s are just $199 per month. Plus, we want to buy your car. Scan the QR code to see what your car's worth. Only at University Kia. Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022 Kia K5s are just
ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck indicating highway.
Coach, how's this year's lineup looking? It's looking great. We got a lot of MVVs and they are looking outstanding. Next.
Yes, what about trades?
Ma'am, you know University Kia always gives up to $5,000 over KBB trade-in value. Right now, get up to $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022 Kia K5s are just $199 per month. Plus, we want to buy your car. Scan the QR code to see what your car's worth. Only at University Kia. Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022
Good afternoon, early into the evening. A couple of football games could get wet, maybe even have the occasional lightning delay. Temperatures drop into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Unfortunately, we're going to maintain a decently healthy opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into the holiday weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Braves and Rockies tonight. Atlanta money line at -378. Colorado at +315. 8 the over-under. College football, top-ranked Alabama beginning the season at home Saturday night against Utah State. The Crimson Tide a 41.5-point home favorite. Elsewhere, Auburn hosting Mercer. Other big SEC games, third-ranked Georgia -17 against 11th-ranked Oregon in Atlanta, and 19th-ranked Arkansas -6.5 at home against 23rd-ranked Cincinnati. NFL underway in a week. The Falcons and Saints kicking off the season next Sunday afternoon in Atlanta. New Orleans -5.5 on the road, the over-under at 42.5. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Indeed, welcome back to Hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Our next guest brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They are the proud sponsor of Madison Academy football, and they invite you to visit their Saturday sports clinic for all of those sports-related injuries. Each Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., visit 4715 Whitesburg Drive. It's the SportsMed Saturday Sports Clinic, brought to you by SportsMed, and hopefully our next guest doesn't have to send too many of his guys to that clinic and that they stay healthy all year.
Yeah, I mean, we had some cramping issues last week. Certainly, it was a highly emotional contest. It was a lot of intensity. It was a fun game to call. I know they didn't get the result they wanted. Certainly, this is a program that, their mantra is live to the standard. It's a championship program. Certainly, though, they hope to begin the most important part of their schedule tonight, and, of course, that's 3A Region 8 play. They will be on the road at J.P. Pennington, looking to get their first win of the season after two quality football games against two opponents in Dessler, who's now 2-0, who beat Russellville in a hotly contested 14-7 game last week, and then of course Madison Academy played it was, I thought, a really good high school football game with two quality opponents against the Randolph Raiders. But certainly I thought there were some bright moments for Madison Academy, and we're going to discuss the Mustangs with our weekly segment and our next guest, and that is Bob Godsey, who's done an outstanding job with this Mustangs program. Coach, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
Doing well.
Good, Coach.
And how has practice gone this week, Coach? I know the kids probably weren't, and you certainly weren't happy with the results. But again, some positive things to build on, and then really the most important part of your schedule ahead now.
Right. Well, we had an excellent week of practice. Probably our best week so far, especially as far as our younger guys, kind of the lights starting to come on a little bit, especially on defense. So, obviously we hope that continues. But really, really good spirits for our guys. I think they understand, the situation. We as coaches, talk about they're going to be growing pains, but deep down you really hope they're not. But they have been, some growing pains, especially on defense for us. And but we had an excellent week this week of practice, just in terms of the urgency picking up and the intensity picking up, and really you can just kind of see in their eyes and their face and their body language that hey, I'm starting to get this a little bit now, and I understand now. Whether it's understand the urgency of doing things correctly all the time, not just most of the time, to just those split-second quick decisions, communication things that have to be done. Hopefully we're beginning to understand the importance of those things.
Well, Coach, the thing is I mean, you learn those first two games were games for you to learn about your team, understand your team, let the team understand about themselves.
Exactly.
Because the good news is it's region play tonight, and so as much as the coaches have to learn about the players have to learn about themselves.
That is correct. And we also get a couple of guys healthy back this week, which will really help us, especially, up front, where we've made it through, 2 games playing basically 5 linemen. And so we add 2 to that mix, which will hopefully change things completely up there in terms of basically not just trying to survive, but now let's go on attack, because we do feel like that's kind of a strength of our team is up front. You feel like if you go on a 15-play drive, you're wearing out the defense, but when those offensive linemen have to turn around and play defense themselves, I don't know how much advantage you've created yourself. So being able to get more rotation up there, I think will really, really help us as well.
The latter part of August and through September, Coach, it's usually the toughest as far as the heat goes, and they have the heat timeouts. And I know, but cramping is an issue. It was an issue for both sides last week. We asked David Lloyd about this. How do you handle with your squad? Because I know they had some guys that went through some adversity and some cramping. But how do you continue to try to work through that? Because I know at certain spots, you just talked about it. Offensive line, you had 5 guys. You were trying to go with an iron 5. Now you get a couple back. But how do you kind of handle the cramping part?
Well, you just do the best you can. I've been very, very proud with how we've handled it for 2 games. We did have a couple of guys that missed some plays, but got back in. But it's really about preparation and preparing. For the most part, there are some kids they're going to cramp the first couple of games, regardless of what they do. That's just that's just part of their DNA. It's just part of the makeup. It doesn't matter how much they drink, how much they consume. Their bodies are going to extend to the point to where they're going to cramp some. There's just guys that that's just part of it. And then when you throw in humidity and a lot of other things. But from our standpoint, we try to attack it from a preparation standpoint through the week, of making sure we're staying hydrated, making sure we're eating good, trying to do all the things during the week. And for example, a couple of guys that we had that had some issues the other night. Not only do they have to replenish everything from Friday night, then they got to get started on the next week. So once you get behind, it's kind of hard to get caught up.
Well, Coach, let's talk about tonight a little bit. I mean, hopefully the weather not as hot, though. Kind of getting in maybe more to that fall-like football weather. A region game on the road at JB Pennington.
Very good football team once again. From all indications, another team that they played a lot of snaps together, and JB Pennington has very good tradition. They're always a very competitive playoff team. And of course, playing down there, community and everything kind of surrounds that school and whatever's going on at that school. And I think it'll be a really, really good environment. Of course, none of us have ever been there before. But the bottom line is we're going to be on a football field with it's 120 yards and we have goalposts on both ends, and we're going to line up and play. But a very, very quality team. But once again, I'm excited about our guys in terms of how we prepared this week, and we're learning, and we just need to get it all together on a Friday night.
And Coach, I thought I was really impressed in the way he battled. You guys used him a lot with his legs and with his arm. Your senior quarterback, Carson threw for 227 and a touchdown, rushed for 95 and 3 scores. And I thought really took on a physical toll, but really I thought battled the entire game, showed a lot of leadership too with his squad, and really has done that for the first 2 weeks. Your thoughts on Carson's play? I thought he was a bright spot for you last Friday.
I don't think there's any question. I think no one has ever doubted Carson's toughness. Even last year, as an inexperienced guy, toughness was never questioned. Just learning the ropes, and we really need him, to continue to improve and continue to make plays, which he has done the first 2 games. We need that to continue. Just really, really excited. He's our hardest worker, and that carries over to the rest of the team, and can't say that much about it. We need him to continue to play well and obviously stay healthy. We've had a little bug going around school, so we've had guys that contribute to the cramping and all that. We've had some guys kind of under the weather a little bit this week, but once again, that's just kind of part of it. And you deal with these things and you work through them as best you can.
No question, and it'll be the 2-0 JB Pennington Tigers against the Mustangs tonight, and the Mustangs looking for their first win of the season. Very important game, 3A Region 8. And Ken Cherry, I know he had an ACL and missed some time earlier in his career, but he's done a great job running the football for you too. So you had kind of a two-headed monster last week with he and Carson, and I know Ken's going to be a big part of this offense going forward along with Mario Brewer, Coach.
Well, no question, and Ken actually had he fractured his leg.
It's a fracture. My bad. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Yes. But he still missed, all last season and was really off to a good start, in a sophomore role last year. So
Yes.
He has played extremely well, run the ball extremely hard, and I think with carries we'll only get better, busting longer runs and getting more out of plays right now as he gets, kind of his feet under him. He's another guy that's hadn't played a lot of snaps. He's played, hadn't played linebacker as well in defense, so he plays a lot of snaps. And as he gets his legs under him a little bit more, I think his production will increase, even though it's been very, very good so far. And then Mario as well. He another guy that plays a lot of snaps offensively, defensively, and certainly has the potential to get behind a lot of people. We were able to hit a big deep ball the other night. That will always be part of the plan is trying to get him behind folks. And but very proud really of our receiver core in terms of Jackson Reed stepped up, making big plays for us the other night. Hayden Bobkowski is a sophomore that has played really well for 2 games, and then Judd Collins is a guy that got his first action the other night, made some big catches, and once again, as he gets more experience and more comfortable kind of with what he's doing, he should help with that.
And Coach, I'm glad you mentioned Jackson Reese. You mentioned in the beginning of our conversation that you saw some younger guys get more comfortable and start making plays. And I know he's a junior, but he took last year off, so he didn't play football. He played in your program as a freshman, but I thought he really took some steps forward to becoming a bigger part and earning more opportunities to help you offensively, Coach.
Well, I think so. I mean, just having those guys to rotate around to take a little bit of that, stress off of Mario will really help, and they were able to do that. Jackson and Hayden had some big catches against Dexter, but both of them blocked outstanding in the Dexter game, and then added some catches and some things like that. So as many guys as we can spread it around to, and it's early. We're still kind of developing our personality, developing our roles in terms of what we're going to have. Who's going to be where and who's going to do what. That's early season football, and just kind of trying to develop our personality of who we're really going to be offensively.
Yeah. Are you starting to see that identity develop?
I think so. As once again, our whole team just being so young, like Drew mentioned, even if it's a guy like Jackson who is a junior, but really he's a sophomore, in terms, and we got some seniors that in that same boat. They're seniors, but this is their first time to either be in the fire or maybe they weren't with us last year. It's as young a team as maybe I've ever coached or had to put on a field, and they're having to learn through the school of hard knocks. But the best thing about this group, and from day one going back to January, is they just show up and work hard, and we just continue to improve. And I've said it all along, and I believe it. At the end of the day, when this thing really matters, this is going to be a really good football team.
And, Coach, as we're winding down, last couple of minutes with Bob Godsey, as we're talking some Madison Academy Mustang football, they're on the road at the J.B. Pennington Tigers tonight in their 3A Region 8 opener. What have you seen from J.B. Pennington on film? What do we expect? And this is a 2-0 team, should be playing with a lot of confidence at home. Talk about this team and what you've seen.
Well, one, they play with a lot of confidence. That's one thing. They play hard, and they spread it around as well. Offensively, they have a quarterback that's a good player. Is capable of throwing it around a little bit as well as running it a little bit. He's maybe similar to the young man we faced last year at Good Hope. He hasn't played as much as I think that guy played. A 3-year starter. I know maybe even been 4, but he reminds me somewhat of him, just in kind of how he plays the game. But just excited about the challenge of this. You go from wing tee to spread. That's two completely different deals on on a team. But we're able to put some things together off of last week, which made prep go a little bit smoother. Not to mention just the experience of some of our guys, and just hope that paid. It's time now, as we've talked about. It's time we start seeing that in games. The reps and making plays. It's time to start doing that on Friday nights.
And what do you hope to see out of your team, Coach, offensively and defensively, as far as growth? Because as you said, young group. They had a few issues in the secondary and the back end against a good quarterback and receivers and skill players for Randolph. But what are you hoping growth-wise to see out of your team offensively and defensively?
Well, just better communication. The issues that we get into a lot of time goes back to not communicating with each other, not having the confidence in that, which turns into big plays, turning guys loose because we didn't communicate correctly with someone. Not being confident in exactly what it is that we're supposed to be doing. All of those things have been much better this week in practice, so we need to take that to the game, as I said tonight. So we need to see much better communication in the back end of our secondary, as well as blocking on the offensive line or at wide out, communicating with each other to make sure we have all of our bases covered.
Well, we look forward to the call. It'll be Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird live over at J.B. Pennington tonight. Mustangs, we're hoping for a great road win and a great start to 3A Region 8 play. Coach, we appreciate the time. Good luck to the Mustangs tonight, and we always enjoy our visits on Mondays, or excuse me, on Friday mornings, I should say. I'm long week for me, but certainly good luck to the Mustangs tonight. Thank you for the time, and good luck.
Well, thank you, guys. Appreciate all you guys do for high school.
Thanks, Coach. Today's interview brought to you again by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care.
And I'm going to correct myself again. I had a rough end of that one, but 3A Region 7. I'm sorry, and I know you'll correct that, Scott, on the scoreboard show. It changed. It's 3A Region 7. I'm sorry. Yep.
All right, I tell you what, let's get a break in, because when we come back, we're going to hear from Nick Saban, and we're going to hear from TJ Finley.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Decatur, Highway 20 westbound at Bibb Garrett. That one's coming in as a no injury, but it's going to be blocking up traffic till they can get it worked and out of the way. Everything else looks good. You be careful this morning. Snelling has accounting openings in downtown and South Huntsville. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The two words we live by. The coach we follow. All right, blow the horn. Let's go. The famous call we love to hear. Touchdown, Alabama! It's good to be a Bama fan. Join us Saturday, September 3rd, as the Crimson Tide kick off the 2022 season against the Utah State Aggies on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey there, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. We're celebrating 40 legendary years here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And to kick this off, we're coming in hot with our all-new Alabama Hot Chicken. Fresh southern fried chicken breast smothered in a blend of tangy, immune-boosting herbs and spices with a spicy finish. Served up with a side of homemade smoked Gouda cheese grits, Miss Mary southern greens, and garlic bread. And there's plenty more where that came from. Stop in today and celebrate with us. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
KFC knows that when it comes to sharing, there's good and there's finger-licking good.
A meal with sides, that's good. 3 equally delicious sides? So even if one kid loves mac and cheese, another only eats mashed potatoes, and the third is basically 90% French fry, there'll still be no complaints, besides why bedtime can't be midnight and ice cream isn't a breakfast food? That's finger-licking good.
KFC's Sides Lovers Meal. Pick 3 large sides and pair them with 8 crispy tenders or your favorite fried chicken. Order now on the KFC app. Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's finger-licking good.
Prices and product availability may vary.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of no knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Tom Luganville here. Coach, how's this year's lineup looking?
It's looking great. We got a lot of MVVs, and they are looking outstanding. Next.
Yes, what about trades?
Ma'am, you know University Kia always gives up to $5,000 of a KBB trade-in value. Right now, get up to $5,000 of a Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. New 2022 Kia K5s are just $199 per month. Plus, we want to buy your car. Scan the QR code to see what your car's worth. Only at University Kia.
Right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talking Ball with Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7. ESPN The Zone. And I do half-heartedly chuckle here because Nick Saban last night on this coach's show. I don't know if you heard this or not around the Tennessee Valley, but if you didn't, here's the coach.
Fans, you need to support the team. You need to be you need to have energy and enthusiasm. Support the players. They work hard. You go to the game. You're not always disappointed because you have this great expectation that we're going to win the game 50-0. Hey, these are young players who are working hard to try to be the best they can be. They need to be supported. They need your energy and enthusiasm. That helps them maintain their kind of motivation that's going to help them, no matter where we are, get better for the future. And so I encourage everybody to be positive and, create a legacy for what we want to do this season. And you contribute to it in a positive way. All right, not in what I read these guys write all the time, about, how can Alabama run the table? I mean, well, can't you figure out something better to do than that? I mean, come on. We got to play one game at a time. All right, so how can Alabama lose to this team? How can this team beat Alabama 3 months from now? Who gives a I mean, how about this game? How about the church of what's happening now? Like now. Can we focus on what's happening now? How come no one's interested in that? Why do we have to go all the way? Anyway.
That's Coach Saban last night, courtesy of his coaches, the Nick Saban Show, courtesy of Learfield Sports. Anyway, that's Nick Saban there. And look, we're to blame for a lot of that because during the slow times, during the summer times, we sit here and we look at the schedule and we say Alabama can do this and Alabama can do that and we expect them to do this. And earlier in the show, we expect them to win the West. And if they win the West, they're probably going to have to win, pretty much all of the conference games to win the West. So
we just talked to Bob. Georgia.
We're just as much as part of that.
We just said Georgia was going to cruise to the East, but I think they will.
But what about the now? Alabama, Utah State.
I do think because so much of the talking point has been Jaleel Worthless, John Moran, Texas, and all the the Steve Sarkisian connection, Kyle Flood, Jeff Banks. All these dudes, A.J. Milwee, we talked a lot of that, and not really talked about Utah State. Blake Anderson's team was okay in the opener, but they have played a game, which can be huge sometimes. They played UConn at home, 131-20, and so I think Coach Saban, that is a good point. And again, if Alabama struggles on the first possession, offensively or defensively, people are probably going to panic. I mean, Tennessee, they came out, they played about as well as you can. First play, interception, off defensively. First play offensively, touchdown. Okay, they did give up, and they gave up 267 passing yards, and we saw Ball State, the Fighting Lettermans, Ball State moved the ball some on them, but they did what they needed to do. You can't panic in an opener, but you need to focus on said opener, and he's right. He mentioned it last night. They beat 2 Pac-12 teams. They beat Oregon State in a bowl game.
Since 2012,
they won 11
Utah
games.
State has won 64% of their conference games.
Yeah.
Alabama has won 90.1%. Since 2012, Utah State has won 64% of their conference games. They're not what'd you say, Ball State? We put Ball State as worse as Hawaii earlier in the show.
Yeah, and I still believe that.
They're not in that category. Utah State is not.
No.
They're not in.
They're a much better team. I mean, I was watching the Tennessee game last night thinking, okay, they're smashing this team, and they need to be, but Utah State's a much better team than this. And Alabama better be ready to go. Now, all that said, Nick Saban would say this is rat poison. I picked 52-3. Okay, you have to make predictions. I think Alabama is the much better team. I think this is an internally, driven team that's got a lot of leadership on it. I think they're looking forward to playing another opponent. And I honestly believe this. I don't think that they're more focused, some of them, on Texas. I think they just want to play well against Utah State. Because, Utah State's got to be the game that matters because, I mean, you can't worry about the Longhorns. You worry about them when you get to them. Now, if they're winning by 28 points in the middle of the second quarter, then maybe some people start losing focus and worrying about Texas, and that's the thing Nick Saban can't stand. He's always talking about dominate your box and play against the guy in front of you, a faceless opponent. But, again, you don't know. It's kind of what Sam Pittman said earlier in the week. You don't know till you play. And so you want to see your team play against another opponent. Tennessee, like the way they played last night, 59-11. They did 59-10, pardon me. 59-10, they played a really good game against Ball State. Now, Alabama's got to find out some things about themselves against Utah State, a better opponent in my opinion, an opponent that could win their league. I think they were picked in the preseason poll third, but Blake Anderson's a guy that's been to Tuscaloosa with Arkansas State before. So he's not going to be afraid of the environment. His team's looking forward to the challenge. He's got a veteran quarterback in Logan Bonner, so it could be a really interesting ball game. I still think Alabama is the much better team offensively and defensively and in the kicking game, but it's what Nick Saban mentioned earlier in the week. Let's see what happens when the fur starts flying.
Right.
Let's see who reacts the best because, again, you can simulate things in practice. You can have scrimmages, but there's nothing like playing a game when you're on national television and you have to go out there and make plays, and let's see who does it.
All right, so that's a little bit of Nick Saban there on his coach's show. Last night, Brian Harsin also had Tiger Talk, but while Brian Harsin said a few things, TJ Finley dropped by as well. And listen to, let's see here. Let me go find this TJ Finley thing. I want you to hear this from TJ Finley. TJ Finley talked about, I guess, the outside noise.
To know that work has paid off at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the media does a great job of letting me know what I need to work on. So I've taken that into account, and I've put in the work. We preach every day, go 1-0. And one of the big things that I like that Coach Carson that says every day in meetings and things of that nature is win the next 4 hours. So I implemented that into my summer regimen and things of that nature. So, I think I've improved in a lot of areas that I need to improve in, and ultimately that led me to where I'm at now.
TJ, how different is it for you knowing you're going into this season as the starting quarterback as opposed to taking over for when Bo was injured a year ago?
Yeah, absolutely. just me personally, last year I don't think I was mentally or physically ready to take on the leadership role of that team. That where they needed me to be, but the work I've put in this year, just physically and mentally, getting myself prepared to be the number one guy each and every game and preparing like a starter and things of that nature, I think I'm ready. And it's a big difference, especially confidence-wise.
A little bit of TJ Finley there. One, saying the media does a good job of letting him know what he needs to work on. And then two, saying that last year he wasn't mentally or physically ready to lead this team, but he is now this year.
Well, says. I mean, Bo Nix was the heavy favorite to play, all the majority of the important snaps. But remember, Auburn played poorly against Georgia State, and Bo didn't play well. And so they had to make a change, and Finley came off the bench and made that big throw on 4th down and helped Auburn win when it looked bleak. It really did. And then Bo bounced back from that and played well, but then he got injured. So Finley had to, play down the stretch, had to play in the Iron Bowl and struggled a little bit. But sometimes you go through that and you get the game experience you need to be more confident. And now he knows he's the guy. It kind of reminds me of what happened when we would see Mac Jones at times come in for Tua Tagovailoa. When he came in, against Tennessee after the injury, a couple years ago, I guess it's 3 now, and struggled and didn't look great. But then the next week when Tua was out, it was unknown, even though they were playing against the Arkansas Razorbacks, who will go down in history. It's probably one of the 3 worst teams I've ever seen in my life in the Southeastern Conference, and this is counting some of the Vanderbilt turds that we've seen.
With Chad Morris as head coach.
Yeah, Chad Morris. It was the dead man walking. And this game was in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I wasn't sure how Alabama would play because Mac had never started a game. But he kind of gave you a foreshadowing of what was going to happen the next year because with a week of preparation and all the reps, he looked great. Now, again, you had to preface it by this was a pathetic Arkansas team, which is a complete 180 to what they are now. I mean, shows coaching matters. This is why I've been saying LSU is waiting in the weeds because they've got a coaching staff now. But again, we have to wait and see now that Finley's had all, summer and spring and everything to compete. Now, he wasn't named the starter until just recently, but if you listen to Justin Hokanson, Jason Caldwell, the people that are around that program, Finley has really been out front in this deal, and Calzada never made the push expected. So Finley has the confidence of his teammates, and now let's see what he does against the Mercer Bears on Saturday night.
Something, though, and I was listening to this, and I'm listening to you here, and he said he wasn't physically or mentally ready to lead this team last year. But don't coaches always tell you, even though you're the number 2 or number 3, you prepare like
to
you
be
should
number
be
one.
number 1? We saw it in the national championship game. Alabama loses some wide receivers,
and they didn't step up.
Guys didn't step up. They weren't ready to be the number 1. Is that lack of preparation on their part or coach's part not getting guys ready to play?
No, it's not. I'm not going to blame Holman Wiggins because
I'm not just using Alabama.
No,
I'm
just using it as an example, man, because that's the best example. Because in the past, Billy Napier's the wide receivers coach. Kevin Norwood's ready to roll. Okay, when he comes in this time, Holman Wiggins, who's seen a lot of guys produce, he can't make a Jai Moron prepare himself and, stop smoking weed and be ready to play, okay, and practice the way you're supposed to practice and prepare yourself the way you're supposed to and be ready because he hadn't practiced well all year long, Scott, and so it just sort of played itself out in the game. He did not prepare himself. Javon Baker was not prepared, didn't even get in the game.
Right.
And Jaleel Billingsley was Jaleel worthless. Couldn't block anybody, couldn't run a route right, couldn't catch the ball. I mean, now and Jaleel is the most polarizing because you look back at 2020. You even look back at in the Iron Bowl. He made a big 4th down catch. He made a huge catch early in the game in the swamp. He has ability. I mean, he's just lazy and doesn't play hard and doesn't prepare himself. But he's so talented. You can just see it. He should play on Sundays, but probably never will because, again, he's just not a guy that has ever been able to put it all together. It's interesting. Now he's going through an eligibility issue at Texas, stemming from some time at Alabama. I don't really know. I don't think it's a discipline thing this time. I think it might be something maybe class related. I don't know, academic related, but he may not be even available for their opener coming up on Saturday. We'll see if he's available against Alabama. I'm sure he will be. But these are just guys that had opportunities, and Alabama still could have won the national championship. That's why I was poking on with Bob. But again, I know Georgia earned the championship in the fourth quarter.
Right.
They made the plays. They ran the ball. Zeus White, James Cook, great football player. Brock Bowers, they won the game. They had more guys healthy, and Alabama gave guys opportunities that aren't here anymore. And I'm glad they're not, because Alabama's, I think, a better football team. You hear what Nick Saban has said internally. He's talked about how much he likes the leadership on this team. He's made the the statement about not having energy vampires. In other words, guys that you have to manage all the time. I think that bodes well. And Georgia had a lot of that great leadership last year, because that's why they were so good defensively. And that's why, even though they had a couple injuries themselves, they had guys step up. It's just like Arik Gilbert. He was supposed to be a big part of this team when he transferred. He's done nothing. But then they had a freakazoid like Brock Bowers. And look at JT Daniels. He's mentally weak, but he also got hurt, and then Stetson Bennett was ready to go and did his job as quarterback, and now never has to buy a meal or a beer ever again.
Yeah, that's what this whole thing with JT Finley or TJ Finley kind of stood out there, was that, okay, wait a minute, I get it. Bo Nix was the clear-cut starter going into the year last year. You come in, and because you're not starting, you're not mentally ready to play. You're not physically ready to play. So what does that, it's weird when they say that, because in my mind, coaches always tell you to be ready to go when it's your moment. And speaking of Bo Nix, we're going to have eyes on Bo Nix tomorrow, because he's starting at Oregon.
Yeah.
And I found this interesting. John Gold from Saturday Down South put this out there, because he kind of dove down deeper into Bo Nix. In 34 starts across 3 years for Auburn, he threw for over 7,200 yards, 39 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, which looks good, for a passing efficiency rating of 126. But that cumulative 126 rating for Bo Nix, by the way, in those 3 years, would have put him 9th in the Pac-12 last year for a passing rating.
But that's also, you have to take that into account too, the quality of defense in that putrid, pathetic league. And that's exactly what it is. I don't care how many houses Lincoln Riley's bought. Right. I don't care, who they brought into the conference. That league is pathetic.
Former Oregon quarterback Anthony Brown, who he's replacing, Bo Nix.
Yeah, who left,
last year had a 141 passing rating with Oregon.
Yeah. So what happens when you play against air?
Should Oregon, though, be concerned with Bo Nix being the starting quarterback?
No, I mean, they should be confident, because at least he's seen them.
Okay.
And again, we don't know. I want to see how this Georgia team does internally. I mean, Kirby said they're hunting people not being hunted. It's different, though, when you're the champ. Alabama found that out after 2009 and didn't handle it great. And it took them 40 years. This was longer than Notre Dame. There wasn't even, there was barely color television. You know what I'm saying?
When 40 years ago?
Yeah, I think ESPN was 1 year old when they won it. So it's different when Georgia had a great 3-year run with Herschel.
Right.
They were in the mix, 80, 81, 82. They were national championship contenders. Now they've played for 2 under Kirby. They lost the one to Alabama in 2017, and then they win this one. And so let's see how they handle it. They've been able to, Kirby's done a pretty good job of feeding the beast and keeping them relevant. But when you finally get over that hump, the biggest hump there is, and they got over it no matter how, bottom line is they won, how are they going to handle it going forward? Now, they do have a veteran quarterback who probably has been underestimated, and has been underestimated his whole career, but they've recruited really well. They've got a lot of talent, but are these new dudes going to be ready for their roles? And then this new coaching staff, because you lose a guy like Dan Lanning, but yet you still gain Will Muschamp.
Right.
As far as promoting him back up to co-defensive coordinator. He's a veteran. He's been around. So you shouldn't really lose anything if at all there. So I want to see, but they did lose Cortez Hankton. They've had to make some staff adjustments. Let's see how good Georgia is. I still think they should be great, no doubt about it. And now that Stetson's had a whole off season, and I mean he's made the rounds, he's on the front of Sports Illustrated, all that kind of stuff. But how does he handle the success? He should handle it well because, I mean, my Lord, the guy came in as a walk-on, wasn't playing, went to junior college, they talked him into coming back, and then he still won the job. So he's always been kind of underestimated. And even then, everybody's talking about Bryce. Even Bob said Bryce is the best quarterback in college football and in the SEC.
Right.
Well, that should probably put a chip on Stetson's, on his shoulder, and he's going to want to come out and play well.
I just thought about this for a second. As much as we have talked about Bryce Young winning the Heisman for a second year, he's going to be compared to his numbers from last year. Everything that Bryce Young does, he's going to be looked at under the microscope from last year. Whether he throws for one more touchdown, one more interception in a game or whatever, Bryce Young is going to be compared to that. Alabama's defense gets compared to the good defenses every year. What happens to the Georgia defense if they go out and win this game against Oregon, but they give up, let's just say they give up 200 yards on the ground and 300 through the air, but they still win? They're going to be picked apart. That Georgia defense, fair or unfair, and it's going to be a lot of it's unfair, they're going to be picked apart this year because of that defensive performance from a year ago. And that defense could be good.
Yeah, but if
year.
they go out and they beat Oregon like I think they might,
right,
then there's going to be people saying they hadn't missed a beat. And so I think, I haven't made a prediction on the game officially, but I would be leaning more toward a 34-17, 34-14 Georgia win.
But even giving up 17 points, that you have
to take that into context.
I know.
You're not giving up when you play a Power 5 opponent. You're going to give up some points. Okay, you're not going to shut everybody down. This is not wad ball anymore. This is not where you shut people out or you hold them to 10 points or less. Even back in 2011 when that Alabama defense, generational defense, which was better than the Georgia win last year, better than the Georgia win last year. I'm just saying, you can't. But it was still a different kind of football,
right?
I mean, offense is continued to evolve, and so you're going to give up points. And so I want to see this Alabama defense. I think this Alabama defense can be better than the Georgia win last year, but they have to go out and prove it. You got to go do it.
It was pretty good. It was good last year.
It was an unbelievable defense.
We can't be proactive,
unless they faced Alabama healthy, then they got their ass torched. But again, that's a fact too. It's a fact Georgia won the national championship. It's a fact Alabama wasn't healthy enough at the end and didn't have guys step up. But it's also a fact when Alabama was healthy, they was watching a lot of asses go into the end zone because they couldn't cover.
All right. Let's get a break in, our final one of the morning. When we come back, your tomorrow's headlines will wrap us up.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're beginning to wind things down pretty quick now. We picked up one wreck in Decatur at 6th and Magnolia. It's already been pulled off onto a side street. It's a no injury. A lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. You be careful as you make the last of your trip in. Snelling needs experienced registered nurses. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com. Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do, and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your tomorrow's headlines today. Brought to you by University Kia, #1 volume Kia dealer, largest volume Kia dealer
Friday
in the
Night
state
Lights.
of Alabama. Well, let's get to, we're going to get to that, but we also got to mention the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
They do good news, bad news last night for the Braves. The Braves get a win over the Colorado Rockies, but the New York Mets figured out how to take 2 or 3 from the Los Angeles Dodgers. So nothing gained, nothing lost for the Atlanta Braves in that matchup there. But they're still 3 games back. Now the Braves have a series with the Marlins at home, and the Mets have a series with the Nationals at home. Those all begin today.
Well, Spencer Strider, that was a bright spot. I mean, 16 Ks, I believe that's a franchise record through 8 innings. Doc Holliday, as I call him, he's making a strong case to be Rookie of the Year and what he's done in the rotation for the Braves. They get it done last night. I believe the final was 3-0. And Kenley Jansen this time did not try to blow it in the 9th inning. He nearly blew Kyle Wright's 17th win the night before, but he gets the save. But what a revelation Spencer Strider has been, especially considering I don't think we're going to see Soroka this year. Like, I think they're going to probably continue to let him rehab, but he'll probably try to be a part of things next year in the rotation. And be a big part of it. But that's because of a guy like Strider who has taken this opportunity and literally run with it and just absolutely mowed down the Colorado Rockies. And it was big because the Braves lost a heartbreaker 3-2 in game 1 of the series. They came back to take 2 out of 3 and ended up and won that series, and so it was huge.
Let's go out to the phone lines. B. Rich with us this morning. Good morning, B. Rich.
Good morning, fellas. I've got a tomorrow's headline today for y'all.
Go ahead.
Grissom Tigers slip by the Huntsville Panthers, and wife talks Spencer Cox off the Tennessee River Bridge from jumping. So I'm just throwing it out there. I know this game has lost a little luster.
Yeah.
But it still don't mean a lot to the people on the south side of town. And my daughter's a senior this year. And I know there is no way her Tigers are going to let her down her senior year. And they are going to win in dramatic fashion. And my boy, Spencer Cox, is going to have to eat crow for 365 for all the trash he's been talking on Facebook. And I'm willing to put I'm willing to put a little bit of wager on this.
Spencer.
He is an aficionado of Bud Light, and I'm an aficionado of craft beer, a.k.a. strange beer. So if he wants to throw it down, let's go case for case, Spencer Cox. You know where to find me. Go Tigers. Hope y'all enjoy the game.
7A Region 4. That'll be the opener for the Grissom Tigers, who are 1-1 against the 0-1 Huntsville Crimson Panthers.
You know what? He's right, though. It's lost a little bit of the lust, but to the 2 schools, Grissom and Huntsville,
still a big deal.
It means the world. The world.
And as we said, we're going to have the 3A Region 7 opener, J.B. Pennington hosting Madison Academy, and then the 4A Region 8 opener, 4A Region 8 for Randolph, hosting JP2.
Yep, but on the airwaves, it's Buckhorn and Gaston City tonight. Buckhorn making that drive down to Gaston City.
Another region opener there with Tom Abraham.
Like we said, download the app. Put it in the palm of your hands. High school football all night long. Download the Blitz app as well. Have that in the palm of your hands. It's another Friday.
Bailey Custom Boats. We knew our boats were special when we would stop at any outdoor store to stock up on supplies for a boat trip, only to come back out to the parking lot and see people standing on and around our boat and a confused sales rep telling them it's not for sale and they don't even have that type of boat. Fast forward a few years, and now you can buy your very own one-of-a-kind Bailey Custom Boat.